If you are a fan of the dark, mysterious, and challenging universe of Hollow Knight, prepare yourself. Today we will explore 10 unmissable titles that every Hallownist enthusiast needs to know. I am Matthew, and we are starting the list with Crowsworn, a dark and oppressive Metroidvania that captures the essence of Hollow Knight by delving into an interconnected world of dark fantasy, where the player awakens from a deep sleep in a cursed kingdom called Firandal, filled with monsters and humans corrupted by the curse. The combat in Crowsworn is fast and stylized, inspired by Bloodborne and Devil May Cry, with a fluid system that emphasizes responsive combos and unique weapons such as the Scythe, pistols, and Raven magic, which consumes an energy called Malice, recharged by attacking enemies. For Hollow Knight fans, this represents a natural evolution of Souls-like combat, with parries, dashes, and aerial attacks that reward precision, but add layers of variety that avoid repetition, making every encounter visceral and exciting. Exploration is the heart of the game, with a giant, interconnected map that encourages backtracking through new abilities, such as the use of Raven powers to fly or manipulate the environment, similar to the world expansions in Hollow Knight. There are side quests, epic bosses, and a boss rush mode, as well as planned post-launch DLC promising dozens of hours of discovery in an atmospheric and stylized hand-drawn environment, with dark tones that evoke melancholy and mystery. What makes Crowsworn unmissable for those who love Hollow Knight is its direct homage. The developers cite Team Cherry's game as the main inspiration, and even the marketing is managed by Matthew Griffin, who worked on Hollow Knight and Silksong. However, it innovates with a greater focus on acrobatic combat and a narrative about curses and redemption, creating an atmosphere of oppression that rivals Hallownist, but adds elements of cosmic horror. Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement is a gothic Metroidvania prequel that expands the ritual of the Night universe, set in 16th century England, where twins Leonard Brandon and Alexander Keitler join forces to defeat the demon lord Elias in a massive ethereal castle, the largest map ever created by the series. For Hollow Knight fans, this evokes the vast and interconnected exploration of Hallownist, but with a 2.5D twist that adds visual depth and character switching mechanics, each with unique combat styles. The combat is strategic and visceral, mixing intense battles with item crafting and demonic shards that alter abilities, similar to the charm system in Hollow Knight, but with more emphasis on combos and resource management. Players alternate between the protagonists to explore exclusive areas, parry attacks, and face 6 demonic lieutenants, creating a fluidity that rewards experimentation and planning. Perfect for those who love the balance between challenge and discovery. The combat is strategic and visceral, mixing intense battles with item crafting and demonic shards that alter abilities, similar to the charm system in Hollow Knight, but with more emphasis on combos and resource management. Players alternate between the protagonists to explore exclusive areas, parry attacks, and face 6 demonic lieutenants, creating a fluidity that rewards experimentation and planning. Perfect for those who love the balance between challenge and discovery. The exploration is rich in lore, with day-night cycles that alter the environment and reveal secret paths in the ethereal castle, a labyrinth of interconnected rooms filled with allies and enemies that weave deep connections with the Bloodstained lore. As in Hollow Knight, there are secrets in every corner, but here with a focus on cinematic narrative and full voice acting in English and Japanese, directed by Shutaro Ida and produced by Koji Igarashi, the father of modern Metroidvanias.
So you've come dogs of the church, right into the palm of my hand.
Mariachi Legends is a brutal pixel art Metroidvania set in the heart of Mexico, where Detective Pablo Cruz makes a pact with death to transform into La Sombra, a supernatural mariachi, and recover an amulet that threatens the Day of the Dead in Santa Mascota, a city where the living and the dead coexist. Hollow Knight fans will find familiarity in the non-linear exploration of an interconnected world, but with a vibrant cultural twist that infuses Mexican folklore into every corner. The combat is action-oriented, with beat-em-up mechanics that emphasize precise timing and rapid combos against waves of enemies, including minions of the Mariachi Legends, echoing the Souls-like of Hollow Knight, but with more emphasis on arcade violence and transformations that alter movesets, such as musical attacks and spectral dashes. For those who love Hollow Knight, Mariachi Legends stands out for its unique cultural identity. It is an ode to Mexico, with pixel art that captures vibrant festivities in a dark underworld, created by Halberd Studios, offering a narrative about family, fear, and redemption that rivals the emotional depth of Hallownest. Mariachi Legends is a must-play for Hollow Knight fans looking for cultural innovation in the genre. Its brutality combined with a Mexican heart creates a Metroidvania that not only explores but celebrates, transforming the underworld into a symphony of action. Aeterna Lucis is the highly anticipated sequel to Aeterna Noctis, a Souls-like Metroidvania where the Queen of Light faces the supreme god Chaos to restore the balance between light and darkness. Exploring a mysterious tower and interconnected worlds full of optional challenges and secrets, for Hollow Knight fans, it is a natural extension of Hallownest's precise exploration and brutal combat, with an even greater focus on high-difficulty platforming. The combat is fast and varied, with passive and offensive skills that include dashes, parries, and magic, inspired by Souls-likes but with Metroidvania fluidity, allowing for customizations that echo the charms of Hollow Knight, but with more emphasis on aerial combos and precise counters against epic bosses. Exploration covers a vast and hand-drawn map, with areas of unique personality, from ethereal forests to chaotic abysses, encouraging backtracking with abilities like wall climbing and double jumps, similar to the progression in Hollow Knight, but with optional challenges and secret hunting that test mastery. Aeterna Lucis is essential for those who love Hollow Knight for its Souls-like depth. As an ambitious sequel, it delivers a brutal and beautiful world that honors the legacy, with precise platforming that will make you feel invincible or humbled in equal measure. Bushiden has that nostalgic cyberpunk flavor that makes any fan of action and exploration switch on their radar. The visual leans towards futuristic neon, with detailed scenarios and mechanical enemies that demand quick reflexes. In this game, acrobatic movement is a highlight and makes every jump or lunge feel weighty, as if the player is always 2 steps away from finding a secret. The combat flows quickly with a huge variety of attacks and combos, encouraging experimentation. I feel that Bushiden values intense encounters, many of them against impressive bosses, where every attack pattern makes a difference. For those who are addicted to the tactical rigor of Hollow Knight, Bushiden seems to deliver electrifying fights that challenge timing and strategy. The soundtrack has that heroic atmosphere, with striking beats and themes that fit perfectly into each environment. The game promises a strong atmosphere, both in moments of calm and frenetic action, creating a constant sense of urgency and discovery. It's the type of Metroidvania that rewards curiosity. There's always a new upgrade or alternative path waiting. The map is vast and labyrinthine, with multiple routes that stimulate non-linear exploration. As the player evolves, new abilities unlock hidden areas, leaving that feeling of, did I forget anything behind? Bushiden primarily promises that pleasure of returning to previously inaccessible areas and being surprised by the secret details. For those who love Hollow Knight because of the challenge and deep exploration, Bushiden is a bet that mixes nostalgia and innovation in an interesting way. Forgotlings seems to have come out of a cult animation studio. The game's universe has charismatic characters and hand-drawn scenarios. Every screen is so beautiful that you want to pause just to admire it. The exterior animation perfectly matches the interior. Forgotlings is about forgotten objects and their adventures, bringing a touching and meaningful narrative. Exploration mixes smart puzzles and platforming, always putting the player in situations that require quick thinking and creativity. The combat system is fluid, with special abilities and varied enemies that challenge with each new floor. If Hollow Knight conquered with incredible stages and intense bosses, Forgotlings can gain ground thanks to its inventiveness and own rhythm. The soundtrack reinforces the melancholy and engaging atmosphere, bringing a fairy tale climate that is both dark and emotional. It is the type of musical background that amplifies every moment, whether in specific encounters or in the simple exploration of the scenarios. The game conveys that feeling of loneliness and motivating discovery, similar to what we see in Hollow Knight. Forgotlings heavily bets on the story and character development, and this makes a big difference. The dialogues are well crafted and bring a sense of closeness to the game's universe. It's not just about defeating enemies, but understanding how everything there makes sense within that world. Anyone who appreciates lore and emotion will find a feast. The level design has a fluidity that encourages you to always return to explore, experiment with new abilities, and interact with unique NPCs. For those who value adventure with an artistic touch and strong narrative, Forgotlings promises to be one of those games that leave a deep mark on the player's memory.
I fully expect to be inducted into the Sanavi tribe.
Yeah, I heard the Sanavi are coming. What have you found out regarding the bandits?
They have taken a Sanavi captive, trying to get him to repair the elevator. They need it to get all their loot down. Take a look at my drawings. Here, it has got all the info regarding the bandits' different armor types. Impressive, eh? I'm Glass, by the way. You can spot my safe spaces by the green cloths. I'm small, so I'm able to escape the bandits and freely move around the mountain unsighted. I especially enjoy nooks with crystals present. They give me calm and rejuvenate me. Ancient soil sure has its power. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to locate Finger. I saw him being led away earlier. Bye, and good luck!
Wait! Thanks for all the sharing. Glass.
Grime 2 is the perfect Metroidvania for those who enjoy heavy challenges in a surreal universe. The visual is grotesque and at the same time fascinating, with mutant creatures that seem to have come out of a biological nightmare. Each environment explores colors and textures that create a feeling of discomfort and curiosity. It's the type of atmosphere that captivates from the start. The combat is robust, full of impact and precision, requiring skill and attention to the details of each enemy. The absorption and customization system allows you to create various playstyles, making each playthrough unique. It has bosses that truly test the player's intelligence, patience, and reflexes. The progression is open, with many build options and alternative paths. Grime 2 values returning to already explored areas and rewards those who dare to investigate every corner. There is no shortage of secrets to unravel and rewards for those who think beyond the obvious. The soundtrack and deep ambient effects amplify the atmosphere of constant mystery and tension. They are dense music and unsettling sounds that perfectly complement the bizarre scenarios and challenging battles. The result is complete immersion, ideal for Hollow Knight fans who like to feel the weight of the world around them. The feeling of playing Grime 2 is one of overcoming. Every victory feels like a personal achievement. For those looking for an intense and brutal Metroidvania, full of personality and atmosphere, this sequel is an almost mandatory choice on the list of favorites. Mio Memories in Orbit stands out in the Metroidvania scene for its distinct art direction, utilizing a watercolor style and hand-drawn strokes. This approach gives the game a visually soft and rich appearance, but one that needs to be maintained in high definition and with detailed animations, which is a technical feat for a fast-paced action title. The protagonist, Mio, is an agile robot in an immense technological arc called Nau. The ruined environment, dominated by vegetation and rebellious machines, establishes a sci-fi setting that contrasts well with the warm art. The exploration of the Inao is the core of the game, where the player must dive into the depths to revive the ship's lost memories, which suggests a strong connection between the narrative and the unlocking of new areas. Mio's combat system is flexible and customizable. In addition to the basic arsenal of powers, the game incorporates modifiers that allow altering the robot's main abilities. For example, transforming the traversal hook into a lethal tool or adjusting the shield to increase damage. This technical customization gives the player control over their playstyle. Progression and exploration are linked to the repair of other damaged robots. This interaction not only advances the Nau's story, but also rewards the player with valuable bonuses. If these bonuses are substantial and unique, it encourages thorough exploration, transforming curiosity into a tangible mechanical reward. The great appeal of Mio lies in the union of its captivating art and customizable build options. Technically, the flexibility of the modifier system is what sets it apart, offering a depth of gameplay that can go beyond simply obtaining new powers, allowing the player to refine the robot Mayo to their liking. Possessors impresses by being a rebirth of the Metroidvania with soul. The mixture of fast and strategic action, a dense world to explore, well-constructed characters, and an impactful visual aesthetic ensure that it will be one of the most memorable releases of 2025. If you, like me, love Hollow Knight for the balance between challenge, aesthetics, and narrative, this title has everything to surprise you with its originality and depth, taking a special place in the genre without getting lost in cliches or worn-out formulas. The combat is a highlight that surprised me with its level of challenge and fluidity. Unlike many Metroidvanias that prioritize simplified combos, here the gameplay requires attention, coordination, and timing, with various weapons ranging from kitchen knives to everyday objects that function as surprisingly creative weapons. The game brings illusions of hack and slash that soon disappear, showing that the experience aligns more with Souls-like, with bonfires and world restarts upon resting. This creates a rhythm of play that forces you to think about every step, feel every lunge, and any mistake can be costly. The demo I played made it clear that the game has a tense and challenging atmosphere, one that doesn't give up on being fun. The setting of Possessors deserves a separate chapter. The city where the story unfolds is a living and decadent scenario, with urban influences and touches of demonic horror. The feeling is of a destroyed world, but one that has not lost its somber charm, mixing futuristic and traditional Asian elements. The visual design caught my attention with its contrast, blending darkness and beauty in every corner, and the exploration is rewarding, with secrets scattered that show you more about the universe and the complex relationship between the humans and the demons that inhabit it. I could feel the inspiration in supernatural action anime, which only reinforces how rich this narrative is. Another aspect that touched me was the focus on characters and their personal stories, something not always seen in Metroidvanias. Possessors promises multiple narrative paths and alternative endings, which expands the emotional investment. Luca's relationship with Rem, their conversations and dilemmas captivated me, bringing a sense of modern tragedy and improbable bond. This creates a deep layer for the game, which is not just about facing enemies, but understanding the motivations behind each one and feeling the weight of the decisions made. It's the type of game that makes me want to explore every dialogue and understand the whole even before advancing in combat. Possessors impresses by being a rebirth of the Metroidvania with soul. The mixture of fast and strategic action, a dense world to explore, well-constructed characters, and an impactful visual aesthetic ensure that it will be one of the most memorable releases of 2025. If you, like me, love Hollow Knight for the balance between challenge, aesthetics, and narrative, this title has everything to surprise you with its originality and depth, taking a special place in the genre without getting lost in cliches or worn-out formulas. Timespinner 2 Unwoven Dream arrives, carrying the responsibility of being the sequel to that Metroidvania that won over fans with its pixelated charm and 16-bit classic nostalgia, including me. The protagonist is now Aurea, a former heroine who returns to save her family and prevent a catastrophe that threatens the very timeline. The premise already hooked me, as it brings that flavor of drama and time travel that works very well to expand the mythology and create varied and complex scenarios. Visually, the sequel maintains that retro feel that mixes the beauty of pixels with animations that always made me feel like I was inside a classic game, but with its own personality. Timespinner 2's gameplay promises to be a natural evolution, bringing improvements that many people asked for. More fluidity, fewer progression roadblocks, and more options for movement and combat. What always charmed me about the first one was the feeling of freedom to explore and the variety of abilities to face challenges. And it seems that this new edition will refine that formula even further. I watched some snippets of the game and I can already see that the areas will be denser, with more intelligent enemies and mechanics that fit perfectly into the classic Metroidvania style, providing that tension that is enjoyable to face. Another element that excites me for Timespinner 2 is the plot that seems to intertwine science fiction, personal drama, and political conspiracies. The distorted timeline and the consequences of decisions promise to create battles and scenarios far beyond the simple fight against enemies or bosses. This layer of narrative complexity is something that hooked me in games like Hollow Knight, and I hope to find it again here, as it gives a different weight to the challenges and a greater reason to explore every corner of the game. In the end, Timespinner 2 Unwoven Dream emerges for me as an expected and promising continuation, which appears to respect its roots while expanding horizons with refined mechanics and an ambitious plot. It's the type of Metroidvania I expect to play for hours, diving not only into the action and exploration, but also into the history of the characters and the world they inhabit. For fans of the style, and specifically those who love to immerse themselves in rich and vibrant universes, this is a title that certainly deserves maximum attention as soon as it is released. Well, that was the video. I hope you liked it, and see you next time.